early, you can certainly watch that over on YouTube as well. Welcome, everybody. I am Kate All of Simple Pin Media, and this is Tabby. Oh, there we go. Yep, it's working.
Yep.
Jackpot.
On YouTube.
Okay. Then I'm gonna leave that there. Tabby is like marketing jack of all trades, right? She's got like, but the most important thing that's important for you to know today is that Tabby and I work together to troubleshoot things on Pinterest. So we have a lot of conversations about things we're going to try on our account, things we're not going to try, what is frustrating us, and how sometimes we want to throw our computers against the wall because we're frustrated with Pinterest. But we do have some wins in there every now and then. So in the chat box, say hi. For some reason, it defaults sometimes to hosts and panelists. So in the little blue box with a drop down, just change it to everyone so that people can see your comments and see your questions. A little distinguisher too, we have a Q&A box. Please put your questions there too, as well. As we get towards the like middle part of this, there's just so many questions to keep track of. And in the chat, we will definitely lose them. We also like to take your questions and turn them into podcasts or turn them into YouTube videos. They are so helpful for us because we can sometimes get caught in our tunnel of what we think everybody wants to hear about Pinterest, but that might not always be the case. So use the Q&A box for questions, use the chat box like you are right now to say hi, and make sure it defaults to everyone. So I see a fellow Oregonian in there too, Chelsea. Chantal, hello. Tana from Sacramento. Anna, love it. Leavenworth. I love Leavenworth. I grew up going there as a kid all the time. And in the UK, Anna, you're in the UK, Minnesota, Fort Myers. Love all of this. Chicago, Sydney, one of my favorite cities. Change it to everyone so everyone can see it. Also, for those who didn't hear, change your chat to everybody so that, or everyone, sorry, so that everybody can see it. Rome, I love it. UK. I always love these like world people. We get a global audience.
Is it late there? It's like
9 hours ahead. Mm-hmm. Nice. Florida, NYC. Suzanne, hello from Florida. But Suzanne used to be in Indiana, so quite the change for her. Okay, so I would love to know what business you're in. So Rosemary at 7 p.m. in Rome. What is your business niche? Are you e-commerce? Are you content creator? Or are you a service provider? We know we have all three in our audience. So let us know that there as well. Service provider. Love it. E-commerce. Ooh, I love this. Content creator, service provider, content creator.
I feel like we're kind of both, right?
Yes.
Kate? Content creator and service provider.
We're all three, and e-commerce.
Actually, yeah.
Yes. We have
put ourselves. We can talk about it.
I know, right? We put ourselves in the position to doing like all three. While you're here, one of the things that we're definitely going to talk about today that we know we always get questions on is fresh pins. It is always a question. So with that being said, we want to let you know that just for attending, we're going to give you guys 30% off discount code for the shop. We're definitely going to be talking about templates, Pinterest templates, because that has been a big conversation for people right now. So we'll drop that. We have a link that automatically has the code. So if there's any shop products that you want to purchase with Simple Pin Media, this is valid until October. So those of you who feel like you need to make a decision today, you don't. We just want to give you this as a thank you for attending today. It's 30% off in the shop, spring 30. So Tabby, you can drop that link.
Yep.
And then
just watching all the comments.
No, it's okay. They're really fun to watch. Okay. So let's kind of bring us up to where we're at with Pinterest right now. We are in Q2 of Pinterest. For those who don't know, there's a heavy seasonality to Pinterest. So what that means is like, throughout the year, you'll find high times for traffic and low times for traffic. this doesn't follow everybody's niche. There are definitely people who are e-com who have steady traffic like all year round. But Pinterest has told us that Pinterest has the lowest traffic in Q2. We've seen it in some of their investor reports. They'll say, hey, this is just a slower time. It's also a time when we see them make a lot of changes. One of the changes I just saw that they recently announced was a new place to go where you could look for your violations and copyright infringements. They like created this new like special link. I'm actually linking it in tomorrow's newsletter, but it's you can look at your notifications on Pinterest and see if any of your pins have been marked as copyright infringement or anything like that. That's fairly new. Before there was like this super lengthy process of like email the help desk, respond to the email 17 times. And now they're providing this new pathway. Let me see if I can pull up the link for you. I'll violations and reports. I think that's what it is.
I can grab it too.
Yes, grab it, Tabby, and we'll put it in the but you can sometimes see them too in your notifications, which is the little bell on Pinterest. So all that to say, Pinterest drops things that are new inside Q2. And I think this is because they know it's a lower traffic time. So what we like to tell people is that if you are a food creator, you probably had really great traffic from like August to December. If you're in the health and wellness space, you probably have good traffic from December, maybe even till like May or June. So, all that to say, there's a big seasonality component. How do you figure out your seasonality component? You look at your analytics. And if you have been on Pinterest for a year, this is a good time for you to go back and look and see when did I get more traffic? When did I get less? So, there's that. And Tabby just dropped the link to the Reports and Violations Center. If you've ever had a problem, which most of you won't, just know like we're not dropping this to freak you out or anything like that. This is just so you know. One, you'll get a notification in your notifications on Pinterest. Two, you should get an email. And three, you can go there just to look to see if you have one and you can dispute it. So from what I've seen and people who have had one, there's like little three dots and you can dispute that there. Let's see what else is new on Pinterest. Is there anything new that's been recent, Tabby, or are we still kind of, oh, the guided search thing they say got like an update. Can you talk a little bit about, but it wasn't really an update. I don't know. You can share what your thoughts are.
I mean, they're trying to do more with AI and guided search. So, guided search has been a thing for a while, but now they're kind of making it better with AI. But it's only available for certain searches. So one example would be body types. So you can search for, I forget what the phrase is, that you can tell when it's AI guided search because the phrases will populate as like kind of like rainbowy colored. It's not just like black. So
I'll show
you'll be able to tell that. And they just
it's this one right here, right, Tabby? This is yes. Okay, so I searched.
It also comes down in the drop down right there. And the words, the letters themselves will be, it just depends on like what you're searching and what they have available in their AI guided search options.
Yeah, this is something that I played around with on my phone, obviously on desktop, because obviously we're doing this on desktop, but I would highly recommend that you do this on your phone to see, because it's going to look a little bit different. So even if I did kids activities, I'm just gonna, did I spell that right? Activity, I did.
Yes.
Okay. So you can see there's no like rainbow colored one, but if I do women's fashion, you get this one right here. Yeah. Let's see how it's, and I'm going to drop down and I'm going to say, I don't know what my body type is. I'm going to say this. And then all of a sudden we get styling options. This is where a lot of e-commerce will come in. Let's say if I look at accessorizing tips, you get this too as well. This is new, where it'll pop up on the side. And then I'm getting like skin tone. Let's say I'm doing handmade jewelry. And then I get a lot actually of Etsy, and I get a lot of promoted Amazon, which I'm going to say I was surprised at how much Etsy I had gotten in my first couple of searches, especially in this
Yeah.
like jewelry, because people have long thought that Etsy and Pinterest were kind of like at odds. But this is just, I don't want to go too deep in it, and I'll stop share right now, but I'll say one of the things that you should do that's really important is go search your niche. If you have not done that for a while, if you've been in this mode of really just kind of going about kind of the, I guess, you're just doing what you've always done. And that is a big, like, not red flag, but that's like a yellow flag. Like, hey, pause, like, stop, you know, you want to like double check it. Um, Okay, so the ones to, yeah, do it on your phone. You're saying when I do the same on my phone, there aren't any AI ones under women's fashion. I think it looks different on AI,
It
but
also might not be available on yours yet.
true.
Um,
That's rolling out
so
to a select
yeah,
group.
it's just how they are. Pinterest is
Mm-hmm.
always like select
Um,
at a time.
Yes. Amanda, it's okay that you missed the beginning. We're just kind of going over things that are new. Put questions in the Q&A box.
Thank you for asking.
I know. That's very sweet of you. And if you did miss the beginning too as well, we're giving everybody 30% off a one-time discount code in the shop, because I have a feeling we're going to talk about fresh pins and fresh images, because I was at the Tastemaker conference a couple weeks ago, which is a conference for food creators, and that was like the top question that I got. So let's dive into the Q&As. Tabby, is there anything else that you can think of? We have the guided search, we have the violations and reports. Anything else new? I don't
Not that I
think.
can think of.
Okay, cool. Let's dive in.
You
Okay,
should have told me.
what's that?
You should have prepared me for that
I know,
question.
sorry. I threw you off. Um, okay, so Jen, how many new pins per day can we safely pin in 2024? And is it okay to repin our old pins, or is there no benefit to repinning? Well, Tabby, I'm gonna let you tackle that one as far as like, well, I'll say pins per day and you tackle the repin part. I'll take the first pass. I would say safely pin per day. Now, I'm always going to say that I never ever want anybody to go above 30, because I just think you lose value at that point. I know there's some people that are actually about like they claim they're not going to teach this, but part of their strategy is to do like 100, 200, 300. I saw a guy say he was going to do 300 plus pins per day just recently. I would say if you go over 30 or 50, you're usually going to get marked as spam. So you want to think about it less as how much can I bump up until the point of where it's not okay, instead into how much content do I have. I
Mhm.
would say this year we've rotated anywhere from 5 to 8 pins per day to 25 pins per day. Just we're playing around with different things, but I would never go over 30. That's my recommendation. Tabby, what would you say to the second part with it is okay to repin old pins,
Mhm.
or is there no
Yeah,
benefit?
yes, I would say it's okay. Definitely. We do that. That's how we fill up our schedule, 25 pins per day. So we're kind of like cycling through pins that we've penned before back into the schedule. So I would say though that the majority of those pins are not going to like bring you a, a bunch of traffic like over and over and over again. One, I think any of your like top evergreen pins, you always want to be putting into your cycle. Just because they are probably, since they're evergreen, they're probably always going to bring you traffic. And two, the other reason I like to repin is because it helps us to stay consistent on the platform. It helps us to look like we are alive, we're open for business on Pinterest.
Mm-hmm. And I'll follow up with Ashley's question. Is there a minimum you should do daily? I think the minimum should be at least two. That's 1 to 2. I mean, just daily putting something out there, especially if you're new, which I think this bookends a little bit on Amanda, your question, which is you're an Enneagram 3 and you want to do things the right way. I am too. Solidarity here. Do we still need to be pinning other people's content? I would say if you're new on the platform and you're looking to kind of build up, it's okay to pin other people's stuff. But
Mhm.
Tabby and I just like played around with some ideas of, okay, what happens when we do pin other people's stuff? That was more a test for us just to see what would happen. But I would definitely say if you have a bunch of your own content, I don't ever see a need to pin anybody else's content for the sole purpose that the old philosophy was you pinned other people's content because the way the platform was set up when a lot more people use desktop is you would see that person's board to the right. In fact, I will never forget this one year, I swear it was like 2017, when somebody would pin like a Super Bowl recipe and they would like their board numbers would explode because
Mm.
this pin would be next to their board. And that was really the philosophy behind why you would pin other people's pins. But when that was removed and you really just saw the pin itself, you couldn't even tell what board it was attached to. It really removed this like need to pin other people's stuff, as well as Pinterest has said, you don't need to pin other people's stuff. Let people on Pinterest like do the pinning for you. Like let them pin your stuff like crazy and other people's stuff. So nope, you're fine. Okay. Let's clarify for Chelsea. When you say repin, are you taking the pin you already made and just saving it to another board? It's a great question. We're not doing that.
Yes. Yes.
So if I'm a regular pinner and I'm on Pinterest, I'm scrolling my phone. Pinterest actually doesn't even use the word repin anymore. They use the word save because they felt like repin was really confusing. So when you're on, you're like, oh, save, 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 save. Like you go save crazy, right? Because you're spending time as a user on the platform. When you're a marketer, what we mean by that is you're sharing it again to the platform. So if we're using a tool like Tailwind or any other scheduling tool or even the native scheduler on Pinterest, I'm taking a post that maybe we did 6 months ago and I'm saying, okay, let's save it again to this board, this board, this board, this board. I can either upload it natively to Pinterest and use a native scheduler, or I can do that through Tailwind. So maybe like a better phrase, Chelsea, would be we're saving it again, but we're not doing it inside the platform with the
I would say
exception of
pin it again
pin it
because
again.
save,
Thank
you
you.
hit the save button. You don't want to do that.
True, true,
So,
true. Thank you.
so I would say pin it again. And there are like three ways. You can, like Kate said, you can upload it in the Pinterest native scheduler, like upload the image, put in the description, put in the URL, like you're doing that whole process all over again. Or you can upload it into a scheduler like Tailwind, a third-party scheduler. Or if you have the extension of whatever scheduler you're using, you can just hit the extension button on the pin that you want to pin again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it will, send it to the
Yes.
schedule.
Okay, Chelsea, we're on the same page. Okay, good. All right. So, Donna, what counts as regular posting on Pinterest? One, I would say regular posting on Pinterest just means participating, like adding value. If you think about that as a marketer, so pinners, they don't add a pin to the platform unless they find something somewhere and they want to save it, right? Because Pinterest is this gigantic lookbook, an idea. It's our binder, right? If you're old like me and you had a binder, you would save things in a binder. So the traditional use of a person on Pinterest is to save things. Now, we as marketers want to be regularly posting. So we're contributing to the environment. We're sharing our new stuff. It's the same way that you do on any social media platform when it comes to quote unquote regular posting. You say you're pinning 2 to 3 times a week. You make your pins in batches. If you use the Pinterest app native schedule, just schedule several weeks of those pins, maybe, or schedule them over 2 to 3 weeks. Does that register with Pinterest as regular posting over the 2 to 3 week period? Or does posting just look like one big batch and then no participation? So, what we any algorithm is like mysterious, if you will. But one of the interesting things about Pinterest is that it's not time sensitive. So what that means is that Pinterest is looking kind of they're taking a piece of content and they might not be distributing it right away to people, but they might be dripping it out to see what kind of engagement it gets. And then it might get more engagement and then it might get more. And this can happen over a 6 month period of time. And so Pinterest doesn't necessarily they don't have this like gotcha, you're doing it too much, right? They just don't work that way. And so it's totally okay for you to do 2 to 3 times a week. That is your consistent schedule. You can ramp it up or you can ramp it down. It just looks like you're contributing in general. So I would say like sprinkling your pins over 2 to 3 weeks is totally fine. We want you to be able to do the bandwidth that you can. And in this area, there's really no like gotcha, right? Like they're not out to they're not like Facebook and Instagram. I don't use TikTok, so I can't speak to that, but they're not like ready to pounce. And I think we've been trained a lot that algorithms are kind of ready to pounce. We see more regulation of our content in the keyword space. So if you are in, let's talk about like body types. I'm going to take a little bit of a segue from pinning regularly. I'm going to go into this whole concept of like, what does the algorithm care about? The algorithm really cares about that you are a contributor in a positive way to the platform. So if you are talking about like lose 10 pounds in 24 hours, like blah, 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 your stuff is not going to get seen because Pinterest doesn't want that messaging. So they're going to look for things like lose weight, diet, things like that. So if you're in that space, they're looking for more healthy lifestyle. So you want to be strategic about the keywords that you're using. They care more about that because that curates the positive platform that they're interested in than how often you post. Because if you think about it, a regular pinner can sometimes save 50 to 60 pins in a day, especially if they're searching for something. So I guess I would say, Donna, keep doing what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with it. It's awesome. Just keep trucking along. Okay. I'll answer the collage ones, Tabby, and then you can take one that you want. Give my voice a break. Chelsea,
Yeah.
how have you used the new collage post yet? Tabby used it when she was like building her house and doing some stuff when it was on like shuffles. Remember it? So let me back up for some history.
Good.
So Pinterest created this side company called Shuffles, where it was like all collages, but it integrated with Pinterest. I think they wanted to see how users interacted with Shuffles, which is like if you had something on your wall and you wanted to make like a vision board or something like that, or you wanted to put together pieces to see what your kitchen would look like, you could create this. Instead of keeping this as like two separate, they fused collages underneath the main platform. It is not a creator tool, I would call it. It's more of a pinner tool. So,
And the
yeah,
place you'll find it is in the app on your phone. When you like go to hit the plus button to create a pin, you'll see it, or you should, unless you don't have it yet, unless it's not rolled out to your phone.
so you can see here it says pin, collage, and board. That's after I hit the plus button. You'll, if you want to play around with it and just see what it looks like, but no, I wouldn't spend any time on it yet at all. Tabby, you have one you want to go for?
Yeah. So Chelsea asked, do you have a YouTube on analytics and how to use it? I just pulled up mine and can see the highs and lows, but wondering what else I should be looking at. I do. I can get that YouTube link for you. But just kind of like high level, I would say when you are looking at your YouTube analytics, what we like to grab and like keep track of every month are impressions, saves, and outbound clicks. Those are the three that are important to us. And this just gives us an idea of like when, if you're keeping track month over month, and then you have like a whole year or 2 years, you can look back and see, when your high season is, when, people search for your content the most in what season. That way you can kind of know like, if you're hitting a low spot, then you're like, oh, well, that's my typical low spot. So, or if it's not, then you can be like, what the heck is going on? And then that's when you start like experimenting with different things. So yeah, those are the three that we pay attention to, but you need to decide like what's your goal for Pinterest and then pick the metrics because Pinterest has a ton of metrics to choose from. And
Mhm.
you kind of like have to narrow that down to your top three and call it a day. So I
Yeah.
will link that YouTube video for you. You can
Yeah,
go.
we can drop it in the chat box. Which I don't know if y'all knew, but we are posting 1 to 2 videos a week on YouTube that are usually less than 15 or 20 minutes that kind of address this topic. One of our most recent ones that got a lot of good engagement and feedback was about the Pinterest funnel. So we'll link that too as well, because that was something that we're going to be diving deeper into as well. Okay, so this was an interesting question, and I'm going to say I don't know 100% the answer. So I'm going to kind of like guess, but it is, are AI created images okay to use on Pinterest, or do they consider that spammy? I want to embrace new technology, but I don't want to hurt my account on Pinterest or other platforms. So I'm going to take kind of like the umbrella answer I think most platforms are kind of wrestling through right now. I think it is okay to use AI created images, but I think it is a little bit of a gray area. It is like, I'm going to say, like, does the image really help the person on Pinterest connect with what they're clicking on? Does it really like get engagement? Does it look like something that somebody would look at and go, oh, that's AI? Like, you don't want it to be, I'm even scrolling through my Pinterest feed right now, and there's a lot of things that are just like text, right? Or there's a lot of fashion that's coming up for me right now. So I guess I would say Pinterest is definitely, they are making a lot of advancements in AI, and visual search has been big for them. So it remains to be seen, and they haven't necessarily come out and said anything, but I think we can take kind of what we know from other platforms that what they want to combat is the negative AI use, right? So, um, there has been no documentation about like hurting your account, but I would take the lead from any other. I haven't studied Instagram or Facebook to see where they're at on AI. I've just been reading a lot about like Google and obviously their eye when it comes to content. So that's a tough one. I'm going to say I don't 100% know, but that's my feedback is proceed with caution. Okay. Chelsea, you say, I see my Etsy pins do a lot better driving. Oh, let me pause before I do this. If you have just joined us, put your question in the chat box and we will, or the Q&A box, not the chat box, sorry. We will gather those and answer them. And sometimes we'll respond to you in the chat box with the link. So just there. Okay, back to this. Chelsea, I see my Etsy pins do a lot better driving traffic to Etsy than my website. Any tips on getting more traffic to the website? Maybe not even post the ones to Etsy and only to the website. Okay, Chelsea, I think you were on a minute ago when I did the screen share of what I was seeing in guided search, and that Tabby and I had noticed a lot of Etsy pins because because we've seen Pinterest go from like kind of pushing back at Etsy and now bringing them into the fold. I actually would both post both side by side. If they're doing a lot better, keep doing
Don't
it.
stop.
Don't stop. Yeah. Like it's really interesting to me that Pinterest is populating them a lot in the e-commerce space. So keep doing it and then keep doing ones to your website as well. I would
But
say,
also like kudos for
yeah,
having your website because that's
yes.
something we always want Etsy or TPT sellers to do.
Yes, 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 100%. Um, okay, Chloe, you
Okay.
have a question about ads. So I'm going to give you a couple things, and I'm going to give you some follow up ways that you can get answers to these questions. But you say you run Pinterest ads for your clients. And I was wondering if you have noticed anything new with keyword targeting. We have noticed that keywords aren't spending at all when there are also interest in the ad group. Also, what audience size do you recommend for $50 a day conversion campaign? So I don't know if you knew this, Chloe, but we have the Simple Pin Ad Society, and there are a lot of people just like you in there who are running ads for their clients. We have a forum and we have training. Obviously, it's full resources forum, and people are asking questions like this almost on the daily to figure out like what's changed, what's new. And Erin, our ads director, and Heather, who's on our ads team, they do a lot with that as well. So I'm going to drop the link to the Ad Society here if you would like to join. It's not a long-term commitment. It's a month to month. If you want to join for a month and see if it's valuable to you and helping to run ads for your clients, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it, just because there's so much troubleshooting happening. So I'm sorry I couldn't answer more in detail, but that's where a lot of those are being answered there. So we can drop the link to, I think Amanda's on here. Amanda, can you pull the one from Thrivecart and drop it for Tabby, and then we can share from there. Hopefully she got that. Okay.
I can take the next one,
You
Kate.
got it.
Anna says, I'm confused about the traffic routes to make a pin on my mobile, on desktop, which offers the desktop offers the pin creation tool and pin builder. Which should I be using? They each offer different options. For example, music and stickers are only on mobile, and I can't find where to add alt text on pin creation tool on desktop. Yes, it is extremely, it's like all over the place. So as a, business owner, you're trying to build up, presence on Pinterest and be consistent over there. I would mostly stick with working on desktop, just because it is going to be so much easier for you to kind of do this, multiple pins per day scheduling situation. I personally would not use the pin creation tool on desktop. It's just, it's not going to allow you to like be creative in the way that you need to be to make those pins really pop and stand out against all the other pins on the platform. I would use a pin creation tool like Canva, something like that. That is, more robust. The one on Pinterest is just super basic, super basic. So that would be my suggestion. And you can get like a free Canva account. So, you don't have to spend money there. But as far as like things on mobile with music and stickers, you don't need to use that stuff. I don't use any of it anymore now that we're not really doing idea pins. The only time I create a pin on mobile is when I want to upload a video pin. And when I upload a video pin is when I get a clip from our YouTube videos. That is like a nugget, a value nugget for our audience. Like it can't just be like, today we're talking about blah, 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 and you should head to my YouTube channel to listen. If you're gonna post something like that, make sure it's a valuable pin. Like you're giving a tip, how to do something, just a little nugget. Because that is really what people are on Pinterest for, is to like solve their problems, be inspired, get a tip. So also video pins they don't have great outbound click rates. So really video pins are just to, at least how I see it, they're really just to get the attention of your audience on Pinterest, to create brand authority, industry authority. And so that's what we do. I post that once a week. I post a video pin. You can go to our Simple Pin account and check that out. But that's the only time I use mobile. Otherwise, we are creating our pins on Canva, and then we are uploading them into Tailwind to schedule.
We're super easy. Okay. There are great questions on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for dropping those too. And Tatanisha, I'm glad that we just answered that question about video pins. So I'm going to take Veronica, you said, was there any change in algorithm in recent weeks? I'm a content creator, and the new profiles are stuck in. There is almost no organic reach. I'm from Hungary, where approximately 1,000 pin reach per month was the typical for a new profile, but now it is 100. Um, I think, I don't know if you heard this in the beginning, but Q2 is notoriously low. Also, we've noticed this as well on our account. We've had a significant drop in reach, which has been a little bit frustrating too, as well. We're content creators and we just, yeah, feel like we're a little bit stuck. We've been trying some new things as well. We're going to change up our images and kind of get a new design. And we're looking at keywords. We've renamed some of our boards. So, what I would say is when you feel like you're stuck, and don't do this every other week, that's really important. You want to do this like maybe once a quarter or once a year. We actually haven't changed up any of our board names in years. So we went through and we changed up a lot of our board names. We went through our or our board descriptions to really make sure we were optimizing for what the current algorithm, like where they were showing our content, where we wanted to be seen. And really just the search bar at the top is where we're finding keywords, as well as we'll look at trends, which is trends.pinterest.com. It has multiple countries under there. So I would try that, Veronica, as well. Okay. Katie, you win the prize because you asked the question I've been waiting for. So thank you. You teed it up perfect. What are your recommendations for creating multiple pins for one piece of content? Do they all have to have unique images, titles, and descriptions to be considered quote unquote fresh? So fresh pins is, we have lots of podcasts on it. We have lots of conversations around it. And this is a question that I've been getting a lot more lately. I would say like a lot of people I know use the same titles, they use the same descriptions, but they change up their images. And when you change up an image, I don't want you to just like move a line or, in fact, is that this week's podcast tomorrow is about, I think it might be. So I really go like, it is tomorrow.
Rich Pins is tomorrow.
Oh, rich pins. Okay. I'm not going to answer that question because I'm answering it tomorrow on the podcast. But what I would say is when you're creating multiple pins, let's say you're creating 3 pins for the same piece of content. I want you to think about less what can have the algorithm trigger it to be fresh and what do you think people are going to engage with. And I just think this is a huge mind shift because then we go into, okay, what are the 3 questions or the 3 statements that the people who are going to interact with these pins might be asking? Okay, how can I get that image to reflect hitting those different people? Because remember, Pinterest, it reads the images or it reads the images and the words that are on the images in their visual search. So those keywords play a role in the search algorithm. You can change up the descriptions to make sure that the keyword in that image matches the keyword in the description. You can do that for sure. But I would say, number one, use it as your testing ground. If you want to try 3 different templates, like here's an example, Katie, here's what I would do. Let's say I'm creating 1 new post per week, or if I'm e-commerce and I have a new listing that's coming out, I might end up creating 3 different images, maybe lifestyle, maybe close up of the product. You don't need to do a product image because Pinterest is already pulling that, or maybe a testimonial, or maybe like a side-by-side comparison. Your whole goal in this is if you're creating 3 pieces of content, I feel like people waste it by moving a line, adding animation, flipping the image backwards. Like don't go that route, but really get the most bang for your buck by taking the extra 30 minutes, think creatively about your 3 templates you're going to use, 3 different phrases, 3 different types of images, and maybe even 3 different types of calls to action. This is why you win, Katie, because I've been excited to share this. So I'm going to share my screen, which has an example of some things that I'm talking about. Okay, this is our pin portfolio page. So we're talking about products here right now. We've got this product here, which is a close-up of a soap bar. Then it's in a bowl and it says shop now. This is a lifestyle shot, still shows the bath bomb here, shop now. And again, we have this one here. Here's another one too, as well. Again, on e-commerce, we're definitely using shop now for sure, but you can see it's kind of different images there. But here we're kind of getting creative, like shop unscented, shop the face. And I'm going to get to some content ones. This is shop quilts. Get it now. Okay. Excuse me. I'm going to go down here. Here we get into read now. And a lot of people are putting like their .com, like simplepinmedia.com. Do your logo here. We have her logo placed in different places around here. So if this was, let's say, to one blog post, she now can easily do 3 different types of designs, 3 different types of titles, and a couple different one with a call to action, one with a renovating, or, like there's multiple options you can do. And let's come down here. Here again is a good place to use like logos around here. Even I would say on some food, I might even bring in the border just a little bit. So the whole takeaway, Katie, you probably won't, that's more than you maybe wanted, but because you're the winner of asking this question, I would like everyone just to switch their mindset from this like minor tweak with fresh images into something more creative. Was that too long of an answer, Tabby?
No, it's good. I mean, no, because that question gets asked all the time. So I feel like it needs to be robust.
Ashley, it says, I think I remember you mentioning a course or a podcast episode certain times that are best for pinning. Can you share those? I don't think that was me. I tend to choose whatever Tailwind gives us. Tabby, is that ringing a bell for you?
Yeah, I don't, it's, yeah, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that with Pinterest specifically. Like I do like the optimize thing, automatic optimize thing on Tailwind, but even that, it doesn't really matter because Pinterest isn't the same as Instagram, their Instagram, you post there, or even TikTok, you post there and it's like, you hope that it does well in the first 4 hours. Maybe you have at most 24 hours for that pin or for that reel to do well. But with Pinterest, it's on the platform. If it's searched, then it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you need to worry about that.
No, I wouldn't worry about it. And Carol, I love that was a great explanation for you. My long diatribe about fresh pins was a big help for you. If you need new Pinterest templates, we have them in our shop and you can get the 30% off. They're really inexpensive. And there's some that are catered to all different types of businesses. We do not include stock photos in that for one reason, that we want you to intentionally choose what fits your particular piece of content. So just so you know, if you get those and you're like, why are there no images? Because we want people to be able to either use their own or figure out their own stock image. Okay, Anna, you said, are you running your Pinterest Building Basics course? I tried to sign up for it, but looks like, yes, we are offering our Pinterest Building Basics course. We had a technical issue. So it is at simplepinmedia.com/start. We'll put that here. It's totally free. Yes, check out that. Here's what I'll say we've created for you. So if you are new to Pinterest, this start course is 4 videos plus a welcome from me. And then you can go to choose. There's a special discounted offer for the Pinterest Blueprint mini course. So we looked at this whole thing and we said, if we were going to take people through all these steps, this is where we would get to. And then we help people decide from there, do they want to get really good at templates? Do they want to deep dive on keywords? Do they want to deep dive on analytics? Or do they want to go into setting up their shop? Things like that. Okay, so there's that. I think I did that one. Okay. Oh, why doesn't Pinterest allow you to edit a pin image? It seems you can only edit the description and the title. And sometimes lately it wouldn't even been description and title. They've never allowed you to edit a pin image ever. And it's actually funny because there's some people who have, made spelling errors, like the most epic spelling errors on their images, and it's out there for the world to see. Like,
yeah,
I know
you can delete it yourself, but it's still out there because other people save it.
Yes, exactly. So just know you never have been able to. It's just kind of the one. Robin, how many boards would be a good number? Can you have too many? The board number that you should have should most closely match the type of content that you create. And so if you're creating this whole suite of options about sourdough bread, which is still having a moment, right? Or like cottage cheese, the other favorite of the moment,
Oh yeah.
you would want to make sure that you had just enough for those particular recipes. I think you can have too many when you have boards that are irrelevant to the content that you create. You've joined too many group boards and they're no longer serving you, or you just have lifestyle boards that are just for you. Move them to secret. Donna, I worry about image quality when using Canva templates. I believe it decreases the quality. Any advice? Um, I haven't had we haven't had any problem with that. We haven't had our clients have any problem with it. When it comes to decreasing the quality, are you meaning like pixelated a little bit? And is that running? I also say this, if you love yourself some Illustrator or Adobe, go for it. I think the great part about Canva is that it eliminates the barrier to entry for a lot of people who are struggling with all of that. Oh, we'll drop the discount code. If you're, as a thank you for joining us today, we're giving you 30% off whatever you want in the shop. So there you go. Tabby just dropped it again. 14 minutes. This is awesome. Thank you for joining us. Katie, you're excited that you're the winner. Yes, great job. Okay.
What does Katie get?
I know, Katie.
30% off in the shop.
30% off the shop just for you, Katie. Okay, let me see if there are ones here. Okay, Julie, we've had this question. This is from YouTube. When uploading a typical carousel post, it is showing as a video pin. In your opinion, how are those doing on Pinterest? Okay, carousel posts for a little bit had a moment, but it's been a good 5 years. The only time we see carousel posts now are in ads. Or if you're referring to idea pins, which were the former video pin version story pins where you could upload like still pictures, which is I think more what you're talking about, that does upload as a video pin. So video, I think Tabby just said it, it's okay right now. Like I would say it's just okay, if that makes sense. So hopefully that helps.
Where did you
All
see
right.
that? I had, that's so funny. So where did you see that question? We had another question on YouTube last week about carousel posts.
Yeah, and it's just popped up in the chat box. Can you see the
Huh.
chat box on YouTube or no? Is it just me? Am I special?
I guess so.
Maybe. Okay. Chelsea, out of the outbound clicks, is there a ratio of sales we should be seeing? I'm going to go with like the standard industry of what I've heard as far as conversions with sales. It's anywhere between 1% and 3% of the conversions of clicks that you're getting over. That's what I have heard. We need to do a full deep dive for us into our shop. We have our shop connected with Pinterest as well through Shopify, verified merchant program, and all of that. But that's usually what I hear is 1% to 3%. Tamsin, my monthly views and impressions have really dropped since the end of March and compared to last year. Is there anything going on at the moment or is it just me? Someone mentioned that Google is changing how it shows Pinterest results in its search, which is having an impact for some people. Pinterest and Google have had a dicey relationship over the last couple of years. So, all that said, it could be happening, but our monthly views have dropped too, which, fun fact, I did record a confession about how I feel about monthly views on YouTube. I have hated it for a long time, but as of now, I would say monthly views can be an indicator of health, and ours have dropped too as well. So I'm going to say it's a Q2 drop first. Second, see if you can do some tweaking with any keywords. I don't know, Tabby, what would you say? You've been kind of troubleshooting, crushing it with this whole thing as well.
Okay, so I would say one, I did kind of more of a deep dive on keywords, and I created like 10 or 12 new boards that were being searched, that were like high searched words on Pinterest based on our content. So what I would do is I would use the search bar, the drop down, the guided search on Pinterest, and I would compare. I would look at like the top pins that were showing up and look at the words that they were using. I would also go to top creators who had like high monthly views, and I would look at the boards they were using that's in the same niche as you. Um, and then I would take those words or phrases and I would go to the trends tool, which you can find in your drop down of analytics. And at the search bar at the top, start typing in those keyword phrases and compare them and see which ones are doing better than the other ones. And then that's how I would create board titles. And then I would also use those words in pin descriptions, pin titles. So that's one thing I did. The other thing is I increased our pins per day. We went up to 25 per day. And the other thing I did was when I created those new boards, I I kind of went old school. This is what we used to do. And I saved other people's pins that were like top ranking pins that were like popping up at the top of search, that were closely aligned with what I wanted Pinterest to know what this board was about so that they knew who to put that stuff in front of. And when I did that, our monthly views went up. And our other metrics that we keep track of did go up, but they didn't go up a ton. So we're still like in the trenches with that. But those are the things that we did. Also, caveat, we're B2B on Pinterest, and B2B on Pinterest isn't as lucrative as
Mhm.
B2C is on
Mhm.
Pinterest. So
Yes, 100%. That is really, really a good distinction. Okay, Cheryl, you asked about our course, How to Market Your Products on Pinterest, that workshop, and doesn't include a one-on-one training or audit. So I'm going to include something here first. We do sell an audit that is done here. But here's what I always tell people. I have the best intentions of going through a video or going through a course, but sometimes I just don't have the time. I am a big consult person. And so one of the things we have available is a consult for e-commerce. And let me see, there's three types of them. I'm trying to find the link. There we go. Here's an e-commerce consult. It's an hour with somebody on our team who specializes in e-commerce. You can send questions in beforehand. You can do a lot of those things. If you're the type of person who is not going to sit and watch a video, or if you need something more that is an audit or training, or feedback on your account, that is the way to get into it. That one is really like once your shop is set up, how do you market it? Like, what's the way to really like get it set up the right way on Pinterest and to really leverage it? I think too, so that's what I'll say is if you're looking for more training audit piece, I would go the route of a consult or the audit with Simple Pin. That's a great question. Um, Go ahead, Tabby.
Mariah on YouTube asked, does it matter if it's a top level board that shows up under your profile versus a section inside that board? For example, easy dinner recipes, 2-section chicken recipes as a section inside easy dinner recipes.
Yeah, sections were weird, right? Like, I don't think it matters, and you can change the order of your boards. You can still do that, right? You can
You
do like
can, but it
ABC.
doesn't
It
matter
doesn't matter.
because what what you see on your when you are logged into your account is not what pinners see. The board order is based on last pin too, last
Mhm.
saved from something like that.
Yeah, I think somebody did a study one time on like a group of their accounts to see how many people like visited a profile, and I think it was like
So
less than
small.
4%. It was really, really small, and that was like generous, right? Um okay, so let's see. Got a few more minutes. Is there any benefit when doing your pin to leave the show similar products toggled on? I usually turn it off, but not sure if that hurts me. Um, Ashley, I don't, are you, if you're a content creator, I don't know. I'd have to look at the pin. If it says show similar products and they're yours, always leave them on. But if it's like you've tagged Tabby, I'm going to talk this through and see if this is actually what's happening. If you've like tagged an affiliate, is it going to show similar products to that? Do you know what that means?
Sorry, I'm rereading the question.
That's fine.
No, so yes, they'll show when they show. I like to keep to turn it off if it's my own product. So like if you're linking to your own shop product, I like to turn it off because I don't want them telling you, my pinner to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, you're linking to your own stuff. Yeah. So if it's linking to your own stuff, for sure leave it on because if it's your own stuff.
off, turn it off.
Oh, off? Even if it's your
Yes.
own? Okay.
No, it doesn't. It will show similar. I'm sorry,
Oh,
it won't show your products. When they say show
thank
similar
you.
products, they show other people's
Oh, okay.
pins.
So
So
turn it off.
yeah.
Turn it off. Okay. Good clarification on that. Let's see. Chelsea, what's the best way to find keywords? Just searching on Pinterest. Do you use Pinterest trends at all? I like to search on Pinterest. I know there's other places that you can search for keywords. We use trends too as well, but I feel like I'm always informed by searching on Pinterest. Tabby, what
Yes,
about you?
especially for Pinterest optimization in specifically. Like I think that because like we can like try and figure out what Google is saying. We could even say like what's YouTube saying, and they're going to be different. So as far as like optimizing your Pinterest account, I would stay in Pinterest.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And let's see. Tabby, a follow-up question. Tamsin said, where do you turn off the shopping
And
recommendations?
you're gonna go into your settings. Let me follow
Oh,
through
yes.
here.
It's whoops, sorry. It's right there. Like when you're pinning a pin, it says show similar products. Toggle it over to the left to turn it off.
I think
And
you click on advanced settings. Is that right?
yep, advanced settings.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Discard. Okay, 3 minutes here. Chelsea, do we recommend using group boards? No. Um, can we get a podcast episode on that deep dive and process, please? Was that Amanda? Remind me. Remind us in the comments what that was. Because yes, I'll do. I've got
What are you
an
talking
editorial
about?
calendar to fill up. So if you want more of me to record more podcasts, you tell me and I'll do it. Okay, you just tried the link for the building basics course. I got to successfully confirming my email, but not getting the next email.
You
Go.
just send us an email at hello@simplepinmedia.com about that, and I'll make sure we get that fixed if it's.
Ooh, I love this one. Amanda, Tabby, this is to you. If someone had just 1 hour a week to spend on Pinterest, say a toddler mom with a full-time job, go you, how would you recommend they spend that hour? What is the best ROI for her time? Go.
Oh gosh. I mean, if you so like if you don't have your foundation down yet, I would start there. Like make sure you are optimized, make sure your account's optimized, make sure your boards are optimized. Then like that's not gonna need your time every single week. Get that out of the way. And then after that, I would it like I don't know, how often are you creating content? If it's like once a week, try to like time yourself. Spend 15 minutes creating two pins for that content, that piece of content. And then go into whatever scheduler you're using and upload those pins and schedule out what you can do based on how much content you're creating. Make sure you are scheduling those pins so that you can be consistent on the platform every day. And that shouldn't take you more than an hour per week. So that's what I would do.
I love it.
I think of what else. I mean, I think that's it. I mean, the foundational wise, make sure you're finding those keywords that do well for you in your niche.
Boom. We had a question about where the replay will be. It'll be on YouTube, and I just linked to that. Okay, it's 11. It's a lot. How does this always goes by
I know.
so fast, and we want to get to
Wait.
all the questions too. We're sorry about that. But we aim to have these once a quarter, so please come back. Please tell your friends. This is something that we like to do for people just to answer questions. It'll always be here on Zoom and in YouTube. And if you have any follow-up questions for us, please email us hello@simplepinmedia.com and look for podcasts. If you have a podcast suggestion, please email us, because Lord knows I've been doing this podcast for 8 years and I can always use suggestions.
For
So
sure.
here is, as a thank you for joining today, here's the link to the shop. It is a 30% discount. Go ahead and hop over there, grab templates, grab whatever. If you have questions about a product, please email us. Thank you so much for those who joined us on YouTube. Thanks to those who joined us on Zoom. And we just really appreciate it. And we wish you a ton of success on Pinterest, and that this next year is really successful for you. Even if things look different, the online space is weird. It's different. It's changed, all these things, but we are here to guide you through. All right, everybody, have a great day.